Some memories don't fade. They linger like soft music, playing in the quiet corners of our hearts. Today's story is one of first love, gentle, unforgettable, and deeply human. It's not just about falling in love, but also learning how to live after it ends. I remember it like it was yesterday, even though many years have passed since then. My first love. It wasn't a grand story from a movie, but it felt like the most important thing in the world to me at the time. I was just 16, a girl who spent most of her time reading books and dreaming about faraway places. My world was small, mostly my school, my home, and the quiet park near my house. I didn't know much about love, only what I read in stories. Then, he came into my life. His name was Daniel. He was new to our school, joining in the middle of the year. I first saw him in the hallway, near the lockers. He had kind eyes, a shy smile, and hair that always seemed a little messy, in a nice way. He was tall, and he carried a worn-out backpack, just like mine. My heart did a little flutter, a feeling I had never felt before. It was like a small bird had woken up inside my chest. Daniel was quiet at first. He sat alone during lunch, and he didn't talk much in class. I watched him from a distance, feeling curious. One day, during a science class, we were put into groups for a project. To my surprise, Daniel was in my group. My cheeks felt warm, and I tried to act normal. Our project was about plants. We had to grow a small plant and record its growth every day. Daniel was very serious about the project. He knew a lot about plants, more than anyone else in our group. He explained things clearly, and he was very patient. As we worked together, day after day, I started to see more than just his quiet nature. I saw how smart he was, how gentle he was when handling the tiny plant, and how he always thought about every detail. We spent hours after school in the library, looking up information about plants. We would laugh quietly when our plant did something unexpected, like growing a new leaf overnight. He would draw little pictures of the plant in our notebook, and his drawings were really good. I found myself looking forward to science class, and even more, to the time we spent on our project. Slowly, our talks moved from plants to other things. We talked about our favorite books, our dreams for the future, and even our fears. I found out he loved old movies, just like me. He wanted to travel the world, just like me. It felt like we were two parts of the same puzzle, finally finding each other. My heart fluttered more and more often, and the small bird inside me started to sing. One afternoon, after we finished our science project, we walked home together. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange and pink colors. We walked slowly, not wanting the moment to end. As we reached my street, Daniel stopped. He looked at me, and his shy smile grew a little wider. "I really liked working with you," he said softly. "You make even science fun." My face felt hot, but I smiled back. "Me too, Daniel," I said. "You're a good partner." Then, he did something unexpected. He gently took my hand. His hand was warm and a little rough from working with things, but it felt perfect in mine. He held it for only a moment, then let go. "See you tomorrow," he said, and walked away. That night, I couldn't sleep. My hand still felt warm where he had touched it. Every thought was about Daniel. I knew then, with a certainty that filled my whole being, that I was in love. This was my first love, and it felt magical, like something out of a dream. After that day, we started spending all our time together. We walked to school together, sat together at lunch, and talked on the phone for hours every night. He would tell me about his day, and I would tell him about mine. We shared secrets, dreams, and silly jokes. He was my best friend, my confidant, and the person who made my world brighter. He would leave small drawings in my locker or a piece of my favorite chocolate on my desk. These small gestures meant everything to me. My friends noticed, of course. They would tease me, saying, "Oh, look at our love-struck girl." I would blush, but I didn't care. I was happy. Daniel made me feel seen, understood, and truly special. He was different from the other boys. He was kind, thoughtful, and he listened to me, truly listened. One day, Daniel asked me to go to the school dance with him. My heart nearly burst with joy. I spent hours choosing my dress, doing my hair, and dreaming about the night. When he came to pick me up, he looked so handsome in his suit. He brought me a small flower, a white rose. It was the most beautiful flower I had ever seen. The dance was wonderful. We danced slowly, his hand on my back, my head resting on his shoulder. It felt like we were the only two people in the room. Under the soft lights, he whispered, "I think I'm falling in love with you." My heart melted. "I'm already there," I whispered back. It was a perfect moment, a promise of a beautiful future. Our love story continued through the rest of high school. We studied together, went to movies, and explored every corner of our small town. We talked about going to the same college, about building a life together. We were young, and we believed our love would last forever. It was pure, innocent, and full of hope. Every day was a new adventure with him. But life, as it often does, had other plans. After high school, Daniel got a scholarship to a university far away, in a different country. It was a great chance for him, a chance he couldn't miss. I was so proud of him, but my heart felt a cold fear. How would we manage? Long distance seemed impossible. We promised to stay strong. We would call every day, write letters, and visit each other whenever we could. The first few months were hard, but we tried. We talked for hours on video calls, sharing our new lives. But slowly, the calls became shorter. The letters became fewer. He was meeting new people, having new experiences. I was doing the same. Our worlds, which had been so perfectly connected, began to grow apart. He told me about his new friends, about the exciting classes, and about a girl in his study group who was also very interested in plants. I tried to be happy for him, but a sharp pain started in my chest. I felt a growing distance, not just in miles, but in our hearts. One day, he called me. His voice was different, quiet, and sad. He said, I think we need to talk." My heart knew what was coming before he even said the words. He told me that he had met someone else, the girl from his study group. He said he still cared about me, but things were different now. He said it was too hard to be so far apart. The phone call ended, but my world did not. It shattered into tiny pieces. I remember sitting on my bed, holding the phone, unable to move. Tears streamed down my face, hot and endless. My first love, the boy who had made my world sing, was gone. The bird in my chest was no longer singing. It was broken. The pain was terrible. It felt like a physical ache, deep inside my chest. I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. My books, which had always been my comfort, now seemed meaningless. Everything reminded me of Daniel. Every song on the radio, every place in town, every memory was filled with him. I felt lost, empty, and completely alone. My friends tried to help. They came to my house, sat with me, and listened to me cry. They told me it would get better, but I didn't believe them. How could anything ever be good again without Daniel? I felt like my heart would never heal. I thought I would never love again. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The pain slowly, very slowly, began to lessen, like a wound that slowly closes, leaving a scar. The tears came less often. I started to eat a little more, to sleep a little better. I started to go out with my friends again, even if I didn't feel like it. I began to understand something important. My first love was a beautiful part of my life. It taught me about joy, about connection, about feeling truly special. It also taught me about pain, about loss, and about the fact that not all stories have a happy ending. But it didn't destroy me. It changed me. I realized that even though the love ended, the person I became because of it was stronger. I learned to be brave. I learned to open my heart. I learned that even after great sadness, life continues. And I learned that I could heal. Over time, I met new people, made new friends, and had new experiences. I went to college, studied hard, and followed my own dreams. I still remember Daniel, but the memory no longer brought sharp pain. It brought a soft, gentle feeling, like remembering a beautiful dream. My first love was a powerful lesson. It showed me the beauty of connection and the pain of loss. It taught me that love can change, and that hearts can break, but they can also heal. It taught me that even when something ends, it leaves behind lessons that help us grow. And it prepared me for the next chapters of my life, with a heart that was a little wiser, a little stronger, and still open to new possibilities. It was the beginning of my journey to understand what love truly means, in all its forms. Some stories don't end with goodbye. They stay with us, in songs, in memories, in the way our hearts quietly hope again. Maybe your first love broke your heart. Maybe it made you stronger. Either way, you're not alone. If this story touched your soul, let it live on. Share it with someone who once loved deeply, or still does. And if you want to grow your English while healing your heart, subscribe to Mystic English, where we tell stories that teach, stories that matter. Until next time, take care of your heart and keep believing in love.